Hello, good people. Today we are talking self-awareness. Our topic is let's talk self-awareness, and we're with the elegant Rose Kanji. Now, before I tell you about Rose, we are having this beautiful conversation at Central Park, Dar es Salaam, Central Park Cafe, and I'm wearing Fab Trends. This dress is by Fab Trends, and the face though, home makeup tips. Now I'll tell you about Rose. Actually, her professional life and her personal life are interrelated. She's a human resource manager, and Rose has focused on people development and the psychology and triggers that impacts our behavior, decisions, and relationships. But I'll let her tell us more about herself. Hi, Rose.
Hi, Ritha. Thank you for having me this afternoon.
Oh, it's an honor to have you here.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
What a great way to spend Sunday.
I call you my soul friend.
Oh, thank you. Likewise, likewise.
Okay, please tell us more. You're doing so many things, Rose.
Yeah, so basically my background, as you mentioned earlier, is in HR management. And in the last 10 years or so, I have started to concentrate more on people development and in the area particularly of psychology in how we behave and our attitudes and our functions, whether it's in the workplace or whether it's in personal life. And the topic that you picked today is very close to my heart, because it was the act of self-awareness that I personally went through that actually led me into focusing more in this area in my profession. And in my personal life, it has helped me greatly, and it continues to help me.
Interesting. And we throw this word self-awareness. What is it? What is self-awareness?
So, in very simple words, self-awareness, or sometimes you might hear someone say self-awakening, is actually the coming close to the true inner sense, true part of who you are. It's getting in touch with the inner part of who you actually are. And once you start understanding your inner self and once you start understanding your behaviors, you realize the impact it's having on decisions you make or on your relationship with others. It starts making a difference in the way you approach life, because life does have a way of hitting us hard sometimes.
It does.
And you know, there was a very famous premise. I wouldn't say famous, but it's a premise by Dr. Carl Jung, who was a psychologist, and he said that the greatest advancement has come out of the space of self-awareness.
Wow, the greatest advancement has come out of a space of self-awareness.
And when you really think about it, when you look at the admired leaders of today, they are very self-aware of who they are. They are very authentic, and being authentic is a topic in itself.
Yes, it is.
But that's the idea. You want to practice a life of authenticity, of being true to yourself, of being the real you. Unfortunately, and this is the sad part, many of us are not aware of our authentic self.
Many of us are not aware.
We are not aware.
How do I know?
Yes. So, if we look at a little bit about our background, the way we were raised, the way we were brought up by our parents, most of us were raised by well-meaning parents.
Yes.
Who parented us out of their unconscious state. What does that mean? That means that, you know, they wanted us to become a better version of themselves.
They wanted us to become a better version of themselves. Unknowingly.
Because they are not themselves self-awakened or self-aware.
Yes.
Because they themselves have unfulfilled dreams and legacies. When we come into their lives as their children, they see opportunity to live their life through us.
And to correct maybe the mistakes they might have created.
Correct.
Through us.
Through us. So what happens is that as we grow up, we hear them say, this is my child. My child is smart. My child will go to the best school. My child will be a top grader. What happens in that process is that the child is forgotten.
Yes.
As a person, as a being.
As a living soul.
As a living soul. So the child is therefore growing up in an environment where he or she is expected to meet certain standards. And is groomed and conditioned and influenced in that way.
Wow.
And what's interesting is when you actually look at or read about conscious parenting, there's a lot to be said about actually our children are very conscious beings. And as parents, they can help us become more self-aware.
Yes, that is
so
true.
So here we have a wonderful source that we can access, that is a part of our daily lives, that is there in front of us, but we are not. Instead, what we are doing is the reverse. We are actually imposing and conditioning our child to become more like what we want it to become.
Just so it's easier broken down, what I'm saying is it starts from when we are born. It depends on the parent that gets to nurture you.
Yes, it starts from parents, and then as we get older, we are exposed to social media. We are exposed to political opinions. We are exposed to cultural beliefs and dogmas. And because we have not practiced or not been allowed to be who we are or be allowed to be our authentic self, we start believing all the external factors, and we start believing that our identity is through these external factors around us.
Okay, now that I am turning 34, I am here now. I want to be self-aware. What do I do?
So, one of the things is practice asking yourself, who am I? Inevitably, when you do that, you will come up with, I am Ritha Tarimo. I am a talk show host. I am a mother. I am a human resource specialist, a professional. I am an independent, strong, single woman. But you will talk less about your authentic self.
Yes. So all these other things are clouds.
Are external stuff.
The external stuff.
Not internal stuff.
Interesting.
And typically that's how people will introduce themselves.
Yes.
We both come from the same profession, and we've interviewed scores of candidates for jobs.
Yes.
And when you ask a candidate to describe themselves, can you describe who you are? You get all these cliched answers.
Yes.
I'm hardworking. I am an accountant. I've had X number of experience. And I always want to sort of get deeper, and so I will continue to ask. But what about you?
Yes.
What makes you tick? What are your triggers? What makes you smile? What makes your heart sing? What makes you sad? Those are things that, for some reason, many of us hesitate to talk about.
Yes.
Perhaps because we might feel we are being judged, or that it is wrong to feel that way.
Yeah.
So showing up, letting your authenticity play out for you is very important, because that shows the human side of you, which is what most of us are interested in. When we start showing the human side of us, that's when we start building rapport. When we start showing our vulnerability, that's when we start building connections.
Most people think, okay, this is a topic of its own, but I want your opinion. I've learned a big time from you. Most people think vulnerability is weakness. And I've read books and the research by Brené Brown.
Yes.
And she talks about vulnerability in another level, it being power. What is your view on vulnerability?
I completely agree with her views on this. I think, if you want to be authentic, you have to ask yourself some very hard questions. And you have to be brutal. You have to be very, very brutal about it. We are very poor at self-critiquing ourselves. We're very good at critiquing others and showing their vulnerabilities up. We are not good at doing that to ourselves, with ourselves. And I think by showing your vulnerability, by showing you're perfectly imperfect, you are actually starting to tap into your inner self and say, giving yourself permission to say, it is okay.
Yes. Yes.
It is okay to be vulnerable, because from this space, I can become stronger.
Yeah.
I can become more courageous.
Yeah. And
I
brave.
can discover, I can become more brave. I can discover new ways of doing things that I never did before. I can learn how to come out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
But if you deny your vulnerability, if you bury it, if you don't show it, the opportunity is not there for you to awaken to it.
Interesting.
So you want to awaken to your vulnerability. You want to get in touch with it. You want to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And you want to say, it is okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm vulnerable. And I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
And when you start conversing with someone in that manner, what you do is you are actually allowing the other person to mirror you. And when the mirroring happens, the other person receives permission to show their vulnerability.
Oh, and now you've made me remember Nelson Mandela. He says, and as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously allow other people to do the same. I think there's one thing that I still need more clarity on.
Yes.
What do I do to start the self-awareness journey? What do you think are the steps that might help me to start the self-awareness journey?
So one very important thing to remember is that self-awareness is not a static. It is a dynamic. And that means that you will never be fully self-aware. You will never be at a point where you're 100% self-aware, because the world around you is not static. It is dynamic as well. life is not static.
Yeah.
Life is dynamic.
Yeah.
You will be thrown in the deep water many times. You will suffer tragedies. You will suffer loss. You will suffer, tornadoes
Yeah.
and hurricanes. So the first thing is to accept that life is what it is. The moment that you're in, it is what it is. And once you accept, the next step is you're embracing it.
Yes.
You're making it a part of you.
Yeah.
It belongs to you. One of the things that has helped me is to ask questions. We are always seeking answers, but are we asking the right questions? And sometimes we are not.
Yeah.
And the reason we may not be doing that is because it means coming out of your comfort zone. It means facing your fears.
Yeah.
It means being harsh and hard on yourself. And perhaps you're not ready for that.
Yeah.
Perhaps you're not strong enough for that. And it's okay. Take your time. You're coaching yourself.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Take your time. But don't give it up. Keep at it. So there are three things that you can actually do. One is to find time to be still.
Oh.
Find time to be still through meditation. It gives you access into a world that is yours, personal to you. It quietens down the noise in your head. It allows you to be calm so that you can think more clearly. It allows you a safe space to be able to ask yourself some important, hard questions.
Yeah.
And it is your access point into your inner self. So if you really want to awaken,
You have to get time alone and
is the way
meditate.
through to your inner
Yeah.
self. Make it a habit. It shouldn't be, when I have time, I'll do it.
Yeah. You create time.
Yes, and it should be a part of your day-to-day activity. It should be just as important as you waking up in the morning and brushing your teeth, or ironing your clothes, or getting ready to go to work, or getting in the car and going somewhere.
Yeah.
The best time to meditate is very early in the morning before
Early in the
anybody
morning.
else is up.
Oh.
And that is at between 4 and 5 a.m. It is a time where you are not you're not getting ready to face the world.
Yeah.
There's no pressure to get
Yeah.
out of the house to go attend a meeting or to go to work. You've just woken up from a very calm state of mind,
Yeah.
from a deep sleep. And when you wake up at that time, your mind is fairly clear, clear of noise. So that's the best time to tap into your inner self and to be still.
Interesting.
So meditation is something that has helped me personally, to explore my inner self.
Yeah.
The second is the external resources that you have. In your journey of self-awareness or self-awakening, don't travel alone. You have resources around you. You have help around you. You have support around you. Find yourself a mentor. Engage a coach.
Yeah.
Talk to your friends that you trust.
Yeah.
Research, read, watch TED Talks. There are a lot of self-help books and other channels through which you can get some insightful information. Something within that will resonate. something within that will click.
Yeah.
And something within that will help you to ask yourself those authentic questions. So don't be alone in your journey of self-discovery.
So number 1 is meditation. Number 2 is to use the external resources.
Yes.
And number 3?
And so the number 3 is your inner self. Go within yourself.
Yeah.
And that is a little bit different from meditation. Meditation is all about being still, all about just
Calming your
connecting
mind.
with your soul. But the inner self is where you start peeling off the layers of the onion. So look at yourself as an onion and start peeling off those layers. And every layer that you peel off will reveal a new you.
Yeah.
You will go through a journey of self-discovery by doing that. So there are a lot of answers that are there within our inner self that we're not tapping into because we're not asking the right questions.
Okay, so good people, self-awareness. This is the journey. You need to do meditation. You need to use the external resources you have, like friends, mentors. Now there's internet, you can check TED Talks. And you need to go to the internal self, to the inner self.
Your inner self.
To the inner self. So Rose puts it this way, just like an onion. You keep peeling, and you find a new version of you every time. Rose, I know we are moving. I want to ask one question, personal question. Are you self-aware?
I would say that it is an ongoing journey for me, and as it would be for anybody else. As I said earlier, self-awareness is not static; it's dynamic because we evolve, we grow. Life throws us curves. Sometimes they're painful curves to master and to turn around. And one should never stop the search. One should never stop asking questions. One should never stop introspecting. I do a lot of journaling. So at the end of the day, when I do my journaling, I ask 2 questions, 2 simple questions. One is that, what did I do today that made me happy?
Oh, that's a nice question to ask.
Yeah. And you'll be surprised that the list can be quite long.
I can imagine.
Some days you have to think.
Yes.
And this is the magic of asking that question. When you think, you keep asking yourself, what else? What was it that made me happy? And it's not readily coming to you. Keep asking. Because in there, somewhere in there, you will eventually come to a point where you'll say, I was so happy to see the blue skies and the fluffy white clouds this morning.
Yeah.
And that's being mindful. So it's really, really important that when we wake up in the morning, that we spend our day in a state of mindfulness.
In the state of mindfulness.
Yes. In the state of being present. Because if you're in the present and in the now, that is when you will start feeling happiness emerge out of you. That is when you'll start noticing the bluer than blue skies and the beautiful ocean, and use all your senses in your mindfulness.
Oh, you've put it really,
all
really
of your
well.
Senses.
The future makes people anxious.
Yeah.
And the past, sometimes if you don't look at it with the eye of learning, it brings regrets.
Yes.
So you bringing the present moment really resonates with me.
Yes. And unfortunately, we Rita, we live in an environment of fast forward. When you get in your car and you're going to work, you are fast forwarding. When I get to work, I have this meeting, I have to make that phone call,
Yeah.
I have to send that email out, oh, I have to organize this or do that.
Yeah.
So you're fast forwarding your journey from the time when you leave home and the time that you get to work. You have no clue what you saw, what you felt, what you smelled.
Completely unconscious.
Completely. And that is being not self-aware. That is being not mindful. So it takes practice. It is not an easy thing to do. But if you say tomorrow morning I'm going to start my car and I am not going to fast forward,
Yeah.
I'm actually going to pause. I'm actually going to be mindful. I am going to see what is around me,
Yeah.
other than, navigating through traffic. I'm actually going to look at the ocean that
Yeah.
I'm about to pass by.
Yeah.
I'm going to see the children playing on the sidewalk or going to school.
Yeah.
I'm going to see that parent walking her child to school.
Oh, wow.
And wonder what their life is about.
Yeah.
These are thoughts that are walking alongside with you, not ahead of you.
Yeah.
And these are thoughts that are not behind you
Yeah.
either. So they are right there with you.
Oh, you're a wonderful mentor, and I feel blessed to have you, really. So before we end, I want you to tell us anything that you feel now your soul is telling you to share with everyone in the world.
I think, the one thing that I would like to say is actually borrow a quote
Borrow a quote.
from Mark Twain. And he said that the two most important days in our lives are the day we were born and the day we find out why.
I have to repeat that. The two most important days of our lives are the day you were born and the day you know why.
Yes.
Isn't that beautiful?
It is. And the way I see life is I see life starting from this point on.
Yeah.
So what am I going to do next? I am going to reflect on our conversation. I'm going to ask myself, what did I learn today? I'm going to ask myself, where did I make a mistake and how can I correct it next time? I'm not walking away from the time that we've had. So using the time that you have and reflecting on it, introspecting on it, helps you get closer to the why. So I guess my parting words would be, don't stop. It is in your control. The choice is yours to awaken from within. Nobody else can do it for you but you.
Wow, sound advice. Thank you so much, Rose. Always the
Thank you
best.
for having me.
Before we end, we have a few questions for you. You'll pick two.
More questions, that's good.
I'll ask you one so that it's easier when you pick one.
Sure.
Do you prefer coffee or tea?
I prefer coffee.
Why?
I guess I've acquired a taste for it.
Yeah.
And coffee is a very Canadian thing. So I usually gravitate towards a coffee machine more than I would gravitate towards making tea.
Yeah.
Perhaps it's the convenience of it, but I do like the taste.
That's nice. And we are at Central Park Cafe, so
And
best place
today
for
is
coffee.
A perfect day.
It
There
is. Okay, pick one.
Right. Do I open it
Yes.
and read it out?
Yes.
Okay. What is your morning ritual?
What is your morning ritual?
Interesting. That's interesting. So the first thing I do when I open my eyes is to be grateful.
Oh.
I feel grateful for having the opportunity to wake up,
Yeah.
to have good health,
Yeah.
to have had a comfortable night, good night of sleep. And these are things I'm grateful for. I'm then grateful for whatever the day will play out for me.
Whatever the day will
Whatever the day will play out.
Amazing.
I'm ready to embrace it. I am ready to uncover the mysteries of the day. I'm ready to learn. I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to share.
Yeah.
I'm ready to give. And I'm ready to be a better person by the end of the day.
Oh, that's really nice. That's really nice. I do the same in the morning.
That's great. Kindred spirits.
Not as deep as you. I'm going to be more self-aware.
Yes.
But I'm grateful every morning. And the last question?
Okay. All right. So, all factors constant, what would be your career path?
Yes.
Interesting. You know, I have made sure that my professional life and my personal life are interrelated.
Yeah.
And what do I mean by that? I mean that in my personal life, whoever I am and whoever I'm on my way to becoming, I want to be able to share. I want to be able to inspire. I want to be able to help others help themselves.
Yeah.
And that is my ultimate goal. So whatever I do in my personal life, it is with the intent that, starting with myself, that I'm going to help myself.
Yeah.
I am going to learn how to do it on my own.
Yeah.
And then use other resources to make me stronger. So with that thought in mind, in helping others help themselves, I have taken that into my professional career and am focused more on the people development side of things, but more on the behavior. Let's recognize our behaviors. Who are we? Why do we behave the way we do? What impact is it having on others around us? Is it getting us the results? Is it bringing us the achievements that we desire? How are we interacting with others? How are we adapting and connecting with others? These are all things we do in our personal life.
Yeah.
But what happens is when we go into our professional lives, we become somebody else.
Yeah.
Or something else. And this goes back to what I was saying earlier, the parenting. We are acting as something else because we need to meet other people's expectations. So we lose our authenticity and we lose our authentic self. So what happens is we become robotic. We go into our office and we do A, B, C, D, E in a very robotic way, and we lose the humanness of it. We stop feeling about others.
Yeah.
We stop caring about others.
Yeah.
We stop asking somebody, are you okay?
And listening to the answer.
Listening to them. Listening is the most important thing we have been gifted with, which we don't use. So I think listening is extremely important. Being observant is extremely important. Being intuitive is extremely important. These are all things that we can use and make use of in our personal and professional lives.
Nice.
So I want to be able to work with people to develop that aspect of them so that they can be human beings, not human doings.
Wow. That's Rose. I told you we're going deep today. Thank you so much, Rose. It's such an honor to have you. I've learned a lot from you. I always learn a lot from you, and I know so many people are going to benefit from this. you are really impacting millions and millions of people with your work. Now, Rose has done so much in her professional life, and as you can see, it's almost the same thing, her professional and personal life. I'm sure you've learned a lot today, and as we keep this journey together, join me to thank Rose and leave your comment down there. Thank you so much. Let's talk Tanzania and the world. Good people, it's a pleasure to have you.